John Wayne, the iconic figure of American cinema, was more than just a cowboy on the silver screen. Behind the bravado, the grit, and the classic roles that defined masculinity for generations, was a complex man who faced profound personal challenges and tragedies. When he passed away in 1979, he left behind a vast estate, but what was truly found within it told a deeper story. This documentary explores not only what was discovered in the vaults of his estate, but also the personal demons and heartaches that shaped the Duke's legacy. Born Marion Robert Morrison in Winterset, Iowa, on May 26, 1907, John Wayne's beginnings were modest. His family moved to Southern California in search of better opportunities, and it was there that the seeds of stardom were sown. A promising football scholarship at USC was cut short by injury, but this misfortune led him to the Fox Film Corporation, where he began working as a prop boy. The transformation from Marion Morrison to John Wayne was orchestrated by director Raoul Walsh, who cast him in The Big Trail in 1930. Though the film flopped, Wayne's stoic presence and commanding voice eventually captured America's imagination. Over the next few decades, he became the embodiment of rugged American individualism. To his fans, John Wayne was the ultimate patriot, cowboy, and war hero. But those closest to him knew a different man, one who struggled with relationships, personal health, and the pressures of maintaining a public persona. He was married 3 times and fathered 7 children, but his relationships were often strained. His first wife, Josephine Saenz, endured his long absences and rumored infidelities. His second marriage to Esperanza Bauer was fiery and tumultuous, ending in a bitter divorce. His third and final marriage to Pilar Palit was longer-lasting but fraught with emotional distance. Wayne's children described him as a man who loved deeply but was emotionally unavailable. His son Michael once recalled that he could command a room with a look, but never knew how to say "I love you." John Wayne's health was a constant battle. In 1964, he was diagnosed with lung cancer, a result of years of chain smoking. He underwent surgery to remove a lung and several ribs, and yet continued to act, hiding his illness from the public eye for years. In his later years, he also battled stomach cancer, which ultimately claimed his life. Wayne's public persona never wavered, but privately he dealt with intense pain, fear, and the looming shadow of mortality. He had a deep fear of becoming irrelevant. Privately, Wayne kept clippings of reviews and letters from fans. Some were harsh, others effusive, but each was saved meticulously, his silent war against fading from memory. Wayne's conservative views were well known. He was a staunch anti-communist, a vocal supporter of the Vietnam War, and a critic of the counterculture movement. His 1971 interview with Playboy, in which he made controversial comments on race and politics, haunted his legacy. While some admired his patriotism and honesty, others saw him as a symbol of outdated ideologies. This duality further complicated the image of a man already burdened by inner contradictions. Privately, some letters revealed he struggled with these political identities. In a draft note to a friend, he once wrote that he loved his country, but sometimes didn't know what he was supposed to represent anymore. That letter was never sent, but was found years later in a desk drawer. John Wayne died on June 11, 1979, at the UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles. The world mourned the loss of an icon, but few understood the extent of his personal pain. The funeral was private, attended by close family and friends, with a simple marker that read, "Feo fuerte y formal, ugly, strong, and dignified." But his story didn't end with his death. It was only the beginning of the revelations that would surface from his estate. When the executors of John Wayne's estate began cataloging his possessions, they discovered a treasure trove of memorabilia, letters, and personal effects that painted a fuller portrait of the man behind the myth. There were unpublished letters to his children, filled with emotional insights and attempts to express love and regret. A secret journal documented his thoughts during his battle with cancer. Letters exchanged with political figures such as Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon showed a conflicted mind beneath his firm public stances. Love letters to women outside his marriages hinted at romantic regrets and unfulfilled desires. Private photographs captured intimate moments from his early life and fatherhood, far removed from the glare of studio lights. Among his possessions was military memorabilia and a handwritten note in which he described not serving in World War II as his greatest shame. One of the most fascinating discoveries was a locked safe. Inside it lay a handwritten will, several gold coins, and a sealed envelope marked "For my children, when I'm gone." Within the envelope was a typewritten document containing his personal reflections, expressing pride in his children and deep regret over his failings as a husband and father. Also inside a leather-bound folder was a list titled "Roles I Wish I Had Taken." It included Shakespearean characters, historical leaders, and a rejected offer to play President Theodore Roosevelt. Next to one of the names he had scribbled, "I always wanted to be more than just a cowboy." After his death, Wayne's children found themselves entangled in legal disputes over the division of his estate. The most public controversy involved the use of the name Duke, which had become a trademark issue. Although the children shared a desire to protect their father's legacy, they disagreed on how to manage it. Ethan Wayne took a leading role in overseeing his father's brand, managing auctions, and running the John Wayne Cancer Foundation. Legal documents found within the estate revealed a contested codicil in Wayne's will, which directed a portion of future film royalties to be donated anonymously to veteran organizations, a philanthropic gesture he never publicized. Other revelations included undisclosed properties, a ranch in Arizona and a beachfront home in Baja, Mexico, which were never formally declared. These assets prompted further tension among the heirs and led to accusations of hidden trusts and improper handling of finances. Litigation dragged on for years, complicating the family dynamic even further. The contents of John Wayne's estate forced fans and historians to re-evaluate his legacy. The larger-than-life screen hero who once seemed untouchable was revealed to be deeply human. The Duke, who always stood tall and spoke plainly, had lived a life haunted by missteps, regrets, and emotional repression. He left behind not just a filmography, but a rich and complex narrative, a legacy marred by contradiction, yet deeply compelling. Books, documentaries, and exhibitions that followed presented Wayne as a tragic figure, layered in myth and vulnerability. One such exhibit, titled The Duke Unmasked, traveled across major cities and showcased his personal letters, belongings, and thoughts. It drew enormous crowds and sparked intense debate about the man Americans thought they knew. For some, the revelations undermined the purity of their icon. For others, it deepened their admiration, showing that courage comes not just from action, but also from reflection, regret, and resilience. John Wayne remains a towering figure in American culture, but the revelations from his estate remind us that even the greatest legends are still human. His story is one of courage, not just on the battlefield of cinema, but in facing his own flawed humanity. What was truly found in John Wayne's estate was not just artifacts or letters, it was the soul of a man who spent his life trying to live up to the myth he helped create. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the life and legacy of John Wayne, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next documentary feature. Share this with fellow fans of classic cinema, and let us know in the comments what story you'd like us to uncover next.